What's good? What's poppin'? You already know what it is. It's your girl Shady, aka Cartier, and
Mobius.
you know it. Brody on deck. We over here cooling. Finally back in the laboratory. Listen, I ain't even discussed this with Mobius, but I keep discussing it with the only one or two people who be on the Unknown Unknowns backstage on Twitch. I'm trying to crank out like 6 more episodes before the end of the year.
Woo. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's gonna be tight.
Man, listen, I already know what it is, so I think, we just gonna have to do our best. I think splitting up some of the episodes, like, I feel like because we do it so far apart, we have so much to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, the rabbit hole goes deep and it's endless, and that's real tough sometimes to get out of it. But yeah, though, so I'm gonna try to figure it out because I wanted to make it at least to 10 episodes. So this what we doing right here. This is gonna be episode number 6. So I mean, really 4 more episodes, but
7.
And I was saying 4 more episodes, and then I guess 11th episode would be New Year's, the wrap up or whatever. Shout out to Uncle Murder. Anyway,
I don't know why.
Yeah, 6. I was like, what? You said 7.
Yeah.
That's 7. Yeah.
Cause 7, 8, 9. That's a joke if anybody remembers that from that one show. Anyway, so we got a bunch of news for you guys.
No clue.
Gaming. My roommate would get it. So we got a bunch of gaming news. Modern Warfare 2 is finally here, kind of. It had like early release or some BS, but its actual release date's supposed to be November 10th. So, people have been playing it for like a month now, somehow. But whatever, it's out, it's here, it looks good, it plays good. There's a bit of a controversy for it right now because if my fellow gamers out there understand what I'm talking about, some people like the physical disc still.
That shit seems retro as hell.
It seems retro, but when you're playing games where the servers could go down at any time.
Here's the other part of that. A lot of the games they made specifically to only work if you're online. So even if you got the disc,
but that's separate.
You can't even play it because and that shit. That's that 2K bullshit. That's that I came out with a new game. We gonna close the service for the old game, so you can't even play the old games.
Yeah, though for 2K and other sports games, the game is so similar that if you can't play we're in 2022, if you couldn't play the last 5 years of NBA, besides the updated roster, you wouldn't really be missing much. Like, the games are that similar. Whereas like maybe a racing game or, certain other games, having years of content go missing suddenly because it's always online and the servers got shut down, or there's not enough people to run it, that would be, pretty harmful. And that's a big deal for people who
to the gaming community.
To the community. They're trying to preserve these games and stuff. Like, could you imagine?
Or just real broke people. I feel like real broke people who can't get the new system, who can't get the new games all the time, who still don't mind playing old games. Like, and then you can't because the server's off.
Like, what is he doing in there?
I feel like some people barely even got daggone internet still to this day. I feel like that's something people are still struggling with, and that's crazy.
And that brings me to the next couple things. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. So Overwatch, piggybacking off what you just said, Overwatch 2 is out now, and it's pretty much universally been a disaster. Everything from the character, the roster, to the DLC skins from the previous game that you couldn't use for whatever reason, to them trying to do things with cheating and stuff. They're trying to keep people from cheating and doing like pretty heinous behavior and stuff, and just being jerks. They're trying to control.
Wait, what is this heinous behavior? They doing that same shit like they was doing on Fortnite, doing fucking racist ass shit.
Well, just play.
You get on your knees and I'm gonna swing this rope around your neck.
Well, that was just
no.
I mean that too, but not specifically for Overwatch. Just people being jerks in general, just saying stuff,
Black Ops,
hacking, or whatever. Cheating, mainly for cheating. So they tried to curtail that by making you have to add a phone number with your account.
So they could try to true block you?
Yeah, I suppose, but here's the thing.
To add a level of fear of getting true blocked because you linked your phone number, and you ain't about to just go change your phone number.
Right. But the issue is that they wouldn't take prepaid numbers, so you couldn't use, like, if you weren't attached.
You got me smashed up. If you got Boost, yeah, it's the prepaid side of Sprint, and Sprint is no longer Sprint. Sprint is T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
So I don't even know if Boost even still exists.
That's a Googleable question.
Boost was the Nextel side when Sprint ate Nextel, and when Boost was Nextel, Nextel was the main company, and Boost was the prepaid. So that's how it went. Nextel got eaten up by Sprint. Sprint ate Helio. Sprint ate a couple companies. And then T-Mobile ate Sprint. I had Total Wireless was my prepaid phone service for my second phone that got eaten up by Verizon recently. So now I have T-Mobile and Verizon.
Who ate Singular?
Singular Wireless? I don't know who ate Singular Wireless. That was like 1,000 hostile takeovers ago, bro. Like, what the crap?
But basically,
you showing your age.
You had to have a certain amount of you had to be under a certain plan or something. It was something with you couldn't use certain numbers to log into the game and stuff like that.
That fucks people over. Anyway,
that's mostly since been removed now, but that was a big issue that people had about it, among other things happening to the game. It's still a problem though, and that's gonna be a thing. Going back to Modern Warfare 2, so the disc thing, it's only like about 70 or so megabytes or something on it's 72 megabytes on the disc. So it's really just, it's almost like a QR code. You're just throwing it in your Xbox to go to the actual downloader. It's not installing with the information on the disc.
Wait. Right, so they switched it up. It's not how it used to be. The information is on the disc. You put it in. The disc loads the information. This is just, here's a disc that's scanning a code to send you to a place
to download
it. Which, I mean, we got to do updates anyway. So that's annoying. So there's literally no purpose of having a disc. So even,
which is a waste
like
of
what we were saying,
resources.
what some people may want to do anyway is to put the disc in and play it offline. If
if your game isn't always online, and this
if that's applicable,
and for a game like Call of Duty, it is, because all of them have had, except Black Ops 4.
It has a solo version that you can play. And Black Ops 1, 2 are the servers are cut off, but you can still go and play solo.
You can play split screen.
Yeah, you can still play split screen. Yeah, and you can play solo.
So for a game like this to not have the physical disc mean anything, it's an enormous waste of resources. First of all, to print out all the plastic and the covers and the discs to put out into market to sell, and then they don't.
That's really a waste of resources. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a, they might change that. We'll see, but
that's sick if they are really dead ass serious, if that's what they're essentially turning the disc into.
Well, that's specific.
If they're not putting information on the disc, that changes a lot.
Yeah.
Again, what about people who don't have internet?
Is
it a I gotta take my Xbox to the library to download the game?
Yep.
And then go home and I could play it offline.
I told you about the dude that was
that's sick. I can't
Starbucks,
even get into this.
And he bought his PlayStation in.
Young, no, I don't know if you told me about that, but I played with somebody years ago
who did that,
who said that they live on top of a coffee shop, but when it closes, sometimes they cut I guess either the power off to the router, sometimes the access cut and sometimes it don't. And so he was like, I have the shittiest Wi-Fi. He just kept saying, if I leave the game, I promise y'all I didn't leave the game. I got kicked out because
somebody at Starbucks.
We was playing, like we was doing long rounds and we was playing. It was probably like 4:00 in the morning. He was just like, I didn't know I would be playing this late. I think he was concerned like if they opened or something. And they, how some people, they reset the router or some shit when they, what?
There's all these people on this net.
Wireless. So somebody bought their TV screen and their Xbox.
Yeah,
like what?
I think it was PlayStation, but they was just chilling in the corner. They was getting it in. It was funny.
Playing their PlayStation at Starbucks.
Keeping it going with the gaming news. A couple months ago, we had some rather unprecedented GTA 6 on leaks.
Unleaks?
Sorry,
you mean leaks?
Leaks.
Let's start over again.
No, I was looking into your soul to see if you caught me, and you did. You were like
Angeliques.
Yeah, there was some leaks that had happened, and it was crazy because I was awake when it happened. I don't remember if we had talked about this
Wait,
the last
what?
episode. So I was at work, and this was like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then somebody just posted it on YouTube, and it was like, yo, these
Posted what?
the GTA 6 leaks. It's
Ooh,
from
I pull this shit up. I gotta see this.
it was from
I'm gonna watch it as soon as we finish recording.
most of the legacy videos have been pulled down, but you can still find leaks from it's too late. Like it's too big.
Shit.
It's too big to be contained. But yeah, some dude had leaked it and then was like, "Yo, I got like 30 gigs more of this stuff," and he just was dropping it.
Oh no! I do remember because they asked for some money and they
Yeah.
wouldn't pay
And
him.
it was some kid in England, and the FBI was like, "Oh yeah," and then Rockstar was like, "Oh yeah," and then he got arrested. Turns out he was supposed to be banned from the internet or something.
Yeah, because that's how they, that's that's the real prison, right? For you, if
Yeah.
you're a hacker, gamer, computer person.
You know what's
The real
funny?
prison is you can never touch a
You can never
computer
touch a computer.
again.
You know
Yeah.
what's funny is that like back in the 90s, where people when the internet was still before it was what it is today, that was like every hacker's nightmare, was getting raided by the FBI and go, "Hey, you're not supposed to have a computer," and then just like, and then they take all their stuff and microwave it and then jump out the window. Like
One of my favorite shows is like that.
Mhm.
Robot.
Mr. Robot?
Mr. Robot.
I just started watching. it.
Love Mr. Bro, you are going down
a rabbit hole.
a rabbit hole. You see, he crazy.
Mhm.
Shout out to Mr. Robot,
What's up, Mr.
man.
Robot?
Fuck me and husband watched it
That's
together.
Bondo.
That whole show, that shit was fucking crazy. That was like an awesome binge right there. All right, so I don't know if I'll ever get to see the leaks. Shout out, if you got some, send me some on the on the unknown unknowns Instagram. Hit us. You already know what it is. It's unknown period unknowns, but instead of a O, it's a 0, and instead of a S, it's a 5.
It's a
Come on,
5.
get it. And we got our YouTube handle together, so you can hit us at youtube.com/unknown period unknown, same spelling. Like, that shit lit.
Yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it. Go ahead.
More gaming news. Google Stadia is shutting down. They didn't tell anybody
What?
that they were doing it. They are a $1 trillion company, and they tried to get into the gaming market, and they were ill prepared, and now they're shutting their
They're
doors.
not making enough money.
They're not making money, and it doesn't make sense to buy. It's like the Soulja Boy console and a bunch of other ones.
Don't do it. See, come on.
It's like a bunch of those. Like they were a bit more official.
That's all right. I'm gonna create new consoles, and I'm gonna give 1 million of them bitches away for free.
I mean, as long as it can run something, that's cool. But Google Stadia just was okay at best. And while they did have some exclusives, and while they did,
Then they
the
shutting down
team,
January 2023. Google announced the news on September 29th.
Yep,
They
it.
switching off the servers.
Yep, and that's kind of it. There's a bunch of companies realizing that people are getting screwed over, and they're letting people transfer.
Yeah,
some games
Ubisoft
to-
Connect.
Yeah.
Ubisoft Connect. Yeah.
So it's not all terrible, but it is like that's a lot of people who work for this company, and Google already has a pretty big problem with canceling. Like, Hangouts is gone. When I was in Canada,
Yeah, it's meetups.
yeah, I was trying to call you on Hangouts.
Yeah, but you just needed to update it.
Yeah,
But that's the
but I
thing.
didn't know that.
I didn't update the app.
Mm-hmm.
I did the update for my phone, and it auto swapped it out.
Yep. This is a new phone, so I never had a chance.
So, but it's meetups now.
Yeah.
So you got it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I'm just saying when I was in Canada, and
you
I was
realized
like,
how
all
to
right,
call me
I
on?
was gonna call you.
I ain't
and
gonna
then
hang
it was
out.
like,
That shit was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, what was?
Or maybe 2 months
maybe
ago.
I should
That shit
download
just-
WhatsApp. So then I downloaded WhatsApp and I called Uncle.
What?
But-
Yeah, because I don't have this number on WhatsApp.
No, but I mean,
I got my work number on
so
WhatsApp.
Sprint T-Mobile says I should have unlimited roaming, but then they also sent me a text message the same day saying I could have like 1 call or something, and I was like, oh yeah. So I didn't want to chance it and have.
Oh, you should have just called on Facebook
Yeah, I thought about that.
and Instagram.
I thought about that.
Crazy.
Anyway, I just thought you'd be excited if I called you. on
Well, the
Hangouts.
new company, my brain fell out my head. Mint.
Is that the one Ryan Reynolds runs?
Yes, fucking loser. Anyway, the new company. Sorry, I'm such a hater. All right, even though I love like almost every movie he's in, ridiculous. Okay, so they giving you free calls to Canada and Mexico.
We like that.
I mean,
we're
not free,
we're
but they're
all
not
the
charging.
Americas. Anyway, so going to Facebook, Meta's value has plunged by $700 billion according to CBS News.
I gotta get into this.
Wall Street calls it a train wreck. I was about to call this man Elon Musk. Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Lizardberg is so obsessed with Meta that all the employees hate it, and that's all he wants to talk about is how can we get Meta off the ground. And it's so bad, and I just don't understand this, man. There are people who are making video games by themselves. It's just one dude and his laptop, and they're making video games, and it looks 100 times better than anything Meta has shown us so far, even though...
Where's that guy?
Who's
making the video games?
No, it's just saying there's plenty of people around the world who are making video games.
Right. Mobius ain't got nobody to cite, y'all. Anyway.
I can name games. Like
indie games? Is that what you're saying?
They're not out yet.
There's some ill-ass indie games.
Yeah,
there's ill-ass indie games that you be like, okay, that shit was vicious. Like, they deserve the whole $3.99 that they want for that shit. Yeah. They deserve every fucking dollar and even more.
Those are done by the guy who made Project Aces, which is just a love letter to the Ace Combat series. That was done by like 1 or 2 guys, and it's on Game Pass, and it's an excellent game. And it was out last year or maybe the year before that when I couldn't play it, and I was sad because it was only on PC.
What game?
Project Aces. Sorry. Project Wingman. Sorry.
Wingman.
Project Wingman.
Project Wingman.
I'm hoping for a sequel. I'm gonna buy that game. Like it's just a giant love letter to Ace Combat, and it's great. And it was made by like 1 or 2 guys, you know. And now it's on Xbox. It went from being a PC only title to Xbox, and it has
what?
Because
and that means what? Like Microsoft bought it or something, or they sold it to the platform. Like they're able to distribute it.
Yeah.
On the Microsoft platform.
So he's making a little bit.
So anyway, Zuckerberg. Listen, we've been said this a long time ago, bro. Like, you know, the whistleblowers, like everybody, like y'all hit y'all peak, bro. And when you hit the peak, it's a wrap for you. Like the only thing you got going for you is like new people are born every day. That's all you got going for you, Facebook, and that's not good enough.
I don't think it's gonna go the way of MySpace, but it's certainly not.
What, down the hole?
Yeah.
MySpace revamped themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it became all about music then.
Yeah,
and that was the smartest way to do it, is by turning it into a place where artists can upload their music and have music pages for free. And that was more or less smart, but they didn't have enough. Yeah, they didn't have enough, like, what do you call it? Like, they didn't do enough rebranding, I feel like.
Yeah, because people were still associating MySpace as a social media page.
Because when I had my page where you had to put in the codes to put designs on your page.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and they switched it all over to pre-made templates that you can just click now and it's all in the background. That was like a 10 years in between of me not logging in, 10, 15 years of me not logging into MySpace. And then me going, hold up, I'm an adult now. Where the fuck is my MySpace? And where, like, what pictures do I have flying around on the internet? And then I went to see
all gone.
Because they completely redid the template. And that's when I saw that they've set up more so for the music artist side. But they just needed to rebrand it because they really could have got money. Like, Reverb Nation was out of control. Like, Reverb Nation was a great idea, but it just had too much. I feel like it's like going to Yahoo back in the day. When you go to the main page, there's too much going on. MSN, there's too much going on. Go to MSN.com. If you're not an MSN user, you'll be lost. Yeah, like, come on. I got ADD. I can't. It's too much going on this one page.
It happened as like a lot of the competition started to fold under the weight of Facebook, because there used to be Bebo and Black Planet and the other MySpace clones. And the other Facebook clones. And
between them folding and then him buying.
Yeah, a lot of them got bought out.
That's what made it whack.
They got
he owned all of it. That shit whack as hell.
So Tom, everybody's favorite friend from MySpace.
Oh my God.
Some people's only
friend. I know who the fuck Tom is.
This is a white guy.
It's a white guy.
It's a white guy. He's the
That's
guy.
Mobius's description for the brown community. Clap, clap, clap.
He's the white guy. He's
Hit the
everybody's
fake clapping.
first friend on MySpace.
Fake
He
clapping.
walked away, and somebody actually did an interview with him not too long ago. It was like, so...
Oh, where is Tom now?
No, it was like, so Zuckerberg's in like weekly meetings with Congress getting yelled at about how Facebook and the internet work and how they're like kind of shady now. And he's got all this obscene amounts of money, but he does not look happy, and in matter of fact, he looks like a lizard. What are your thoughts about that? And he was just like, I walked away at the right time. I'm happy, and I can wake up and do anything I want in the world because I have money. And that's heavily paraphrasing, but basically it's just like, look, he left MySpace, he unplugged, and then that was it. So all these people are chewing out Zuckerberg, and now he's obsessed with Meta, and he's just appearing like he was lost his mind or is a lizard.
I have a great idea for the metaverse, and I texted it to this nigga just taking shits on it. I texted it to Lido, but I'm gonna tell you about it later. So hopefully I remember. Cause I definitely
ART Telecom, we out here.
Yeah,
Pirates.
yo, listen, get at me. ART. Shout out to our sponsors. All right, what else you got? Cause we are like 30 minutes in.
All right,
with all shenanigans.
Lightning round. All right. We got Elon Musk bought
trash
Twitter for $44 billion.
And people are, and then suddenly people are. Elon Musk bought
Twitter for $44 billion.
What the 44 billion?
He walked in the front door with a sink and immediately fired some people. The pun is let that sink in. He walked in the building with a sink. So the joke.
Anyway, trash. Anyway,
billion.
This guy apparently like people woke up to a bunch of celebrities and a bunch of missing accounts.
It's missing accounts.
So they're like,
he's taking people's check marks away.
Look what you've done. I heard something about he want $8.
Yep, to keep your
to get
mark.
Verified.
Yeah,
that's a way to pump money into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to instantly walk into the business and say, because $8 is not an unreasonable amount of money for internet clout.
Yep, anybody can suddenly have clout. I'm verified. NFTs are down 97%. No one cares about them anymore. No one ever cared about them to begin with, but that's all a good thing. Everybody can pat themselves on the back.
NFTs are down?
Yeah. Like, no one's talking about them. No one wants them.
Nobody's talking about them. Nobody wants them next.
Remember when you were kids and instead of saying the F word, you would say, oh man, that dude got folded. Well, that's basically what happened.
Folded.
That's what flicked it and folded. That's what happened to NFTs. They just are gone. In not gaming news, the Tyson's Food CEO got arrested for breaking into somebody else's house and falling asleep.
Tyson's Chicken?
Yep.
He broke into somebody's house and he was high shit. All right, anyway, go ahead. That's none of my business.
The chairman's son got arrested for public intoxication. This is more like in-world news and shit. The election is coming up, midterms on November 8th. Go vote. I will be going to vote, even though I'm super jaded now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like
it's crazy
listen,
how jaded I've become in the last 2 years. And how I was like, yeah, go vote in 2020. And now I'm just like, Trump's a liar and an asshole. Biden's a liar and an asshole. And in his daily being confused, talking to ghosts and handshaking people who don't exist. And
don't do that.
He's doing all the things that they said Bernie Sanders was going to do.
Yeah, exactly. He should have might as well gave Bernie a chance.
Because he wanted too much. Bernie's the homie.
You should just let him die 2 years into it.
The voice
from too much stress.
The voice actor for Bayonetta is under fire because she didn't disclose. She tried to rally her fans about how much she was not getting paid.
And then they was like, you make more than me, so just get off my line. Next.
More or less. I mean, it's just she lied about how much she was actually offered and rallied her fans to boycott the game, and then it turns out that they actually offered her a pretty reasonable amount of money. So now she's probably not going to get the role again. Going over to Microsoft and Microsoft Activision's deal. Sony's trying to block it. This says a $70 billion deal that was supposed to happen. They've all but shaken hands on it, and Sony is protesting the hell out of it.
I thought that deal was already done.
It was approved.
Sony, Microsoft, Activision? What?
No, it's Activision and Microsoft.
Oh.
Microsoft is buying Activision for $70 billion, and
Yeah.
Sony is protesting. But then they immediately went around and tried to buy Bungie, so it's like hypocrites.
I mean, yeah, if I can't level up like you,
We talked about
what is this, the
Overwatch.
Monopoly shit?
The Powerball is 1.9 billion. Did you hear the beat? 9 billion.
Yeah, I need you to go play.
Go play.
I gave him $5 to do it. He didn't do it. I need you to do it.
Yeah, Powerball. It's $1 billion. Hooray! There's a bunch of anti-war protests going on in Russia to the likes that have never really been seen before, and so far, according to Google, 19,000 people have been detained as of October 15th.
Wow.
Where? All across Russia.
Oh,
because
okay.
A bunch of people, because they're draft. They got mobilized, and people were given rusted AKs and no.
So now they're in
no
prison.
Money. Yeah, go
but
fight.
I didn't do
okay,
nothing.
yes sir. And then you get there, and they're like, "Here's this rusted AK."
And you like, you got me fucked up.
Here's 3 bullets. You got.
And you're like, I'll take 3 hots and a cot, please.
So we have the draft here. Like at least you would get a bare minimum of some training and some equipment, and you would still get paid.
3 hots and a cot.
They're not giving them hots and a cot. The people are sleeping on the floor.
I'm saying 3 hots and a cot. I'm saying I'm choosing jail. That's what they call jail. Yeah. 3 hots and a cot.
As you can see, I've never been arrested. I've never even been
He's
detained.
like, what?
People were
3 hots and a cot. They was like, so a rusted gun and 3 bullets? No, I'll take this jail time, please.
About 700,000 Russians have left conscription and went to Kazakhstan, Serbia, Turkey, and several other places to flee the mobilization order. We're skipping that. Iran is on fire right now. There's about 350 people dead because something about an ongoing series of protests and civil unrest against the government of Iran because a 22-year-old girl was arrested and more or less killed for not wearing a hijab, and it's like being outspoken, and a bunch of other stuff happened.
Damn. Well, rest in peace, and praying for strength for her family and everything, because I know they're fighting back and they're speaking up, and that's a problem, obviously.
Yeah. There's other stuff at stake too, but that's more or less kind of the boiling point. So it's a lot of women really in the streets doing stuff. Battlefield
women activists.
This is the last gaming news. Battlefield 2042 is doing so poorly that now Battlefield 1, a 5-year-old game, has 10 times the amount of players.
Every time we come back to Battlefront, it's people playing the retro and playing everything except what the fuck they putting out. Let me I don't want that. Let me go back to what I was doing before.
Let's see.
All right, can we get to
one more? We got the last thing I got is Hurricane Ian. Just hit. That was last month, and that was a Cat 4 hurricane that hit. It was the deadliest hurricane that hit the state of Florida since 1935. And a bunch of people died. It's really sad. And thoughts and prayers. Okay, are you happy?
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Shout out to BoJack Horseman.
I need to finish watching that. What you got over there?
All right, so wow. Okay. So that was current events and everything. Gaming.
Everything I got.
And wait, did you talk about going to Canada?
No.
Where has Mobius been?
I was in Canada, y'all. I went to Vancouver. It's nice. Having been to Seattle once, I guess that time last year, right after what was this? Legal trapping?
Yeah, legal trapping.
After legal trapping's passing, I went to Seattle to see my boy, and I think I'm gonna turn that into an annual thing where I just kind of go out somewhere by myself.
I thought you were saying Seattle.
No, just go
not
places.
Seattle every year.
Go places for a couple days and then come back home. This time I went with my cousin. He invited me, and I was like, sure. So we went to Vancouver on Halloween weekend. It was tight, and every chance everyone asked, because they would hear our accents, say, "Oh, Americans, what you guys doing up here?" And we go, "Oh, just hanging out." And then they kind of take a beat, and then no, why are you really here though? Like, what's going on? He's 6'2", so he looks like a basketball. He used to be a basketball player.
Was there any black people up there?
Yes, but you gotta squint and look for them sometimes.
This motherfucker
They're
squint.
there, but they are just like you don't see like it's raining all. It was raining all the time, so we didn't really see any black people until it was like at night and there was like a party, and then they all be out there like clean, looking good, having a good time. But during the
That's
day, there was
nice.
like a handful. But it rained the whole time, and it was pleasant. It's very beautiful. If you live and or have been to Seattle, the city's different, or Portland. The differences between the city are pretty squinting. Like you would have to really point some things out to say, hey, this is entirely different from American cities. Blah. The only thing I can really point offhandedly, like if you remove the flags, the borders and stuff, and just say, what city are you in right now? It would be a little bit of the architecture and how clean the city is. Just like Mexico
Wow.
City, both of which are infinitely cleaner than pretty much any American city I've been in,
Damn.
except maybe some parts of Virginia. Uh, it's just way cleaner. It's not
Damn.
eat off the ground clean like Japan
Obviously.
or Korea, but it is very clean.
Japan? I
You know,
don't know about that.
Japan don't play. But it is very clean, and everybody was super polite. And if you're American and you go up there, you're going to be the most interesting person in the room. Even though especially if you live just on the border, you're like 30 minutes away from the border. People were still like, why are you coming? So customs was interesting because when you're coming back to the U.S., they're going to ask you about bombs and guns and terroristic things and stuff and things. They're going to get in your business. When you go to Canada, they're like, so why are you here? And you're like, oh yeah, doing stuff and things. And like, so who do you know while you're up here though? And what are they doing? They're more interested in internal security than what's happening and people trying to come up there. Especially since on Halloween weekend they were just like, shouldn't you be in New York or partying somewhere in your country? And we're like, we're doing something different. They're like, no, really, why are you here though? So
Damn.
that was
Like a spy and shit.
yeah,
What
so
the
that
hell?
was interesting. I'm here to subvert your Canadian nationalism and to convert you all into Americans. You're now a part of us. Canada was cool. Go visit. Go travel. Call your mom. What else?
Damn.
What else you got?
Where was Shady at since the last episode?
Being a mom.
Yeah, same shit, different day.
My
Not
mom.
doing shit. Shout out to the intern though. That's getting these episodes prepped and ready to get cranked out and everything. So big appreciation for that. Been working with my intern, grooming him,
We got a whole
to
intern,
the
y'all.
unknowns standards. So it's it's a blessing to be a black business owner and trying to get it together, guy. All right, so now we're getting into what this episode is really about. So I'll probably like to go ahead and cut this, make all that like a separate episode, and this will be the meat and the potatoes, I guess, episode. Or this is the real episode. So what are we here for, guys? First I want to say rest in peace to Ducky. Anybody who's familiar with season 1 and season 2, you definitely remember hearing the duck quack in the background of season 1. Seeing some visuals pop up on the screen of a duck. Yeah, so it just means a lot to me. He was 5, almost 6 years old. Very kind, a lot of fun. He loved the color red, and he imprinted on my whole family. I feel like me, Mobius, my bonus child, my husband, my brother, Legal Trapper. Like, he imprinted on all of us. Like, we would go camping together. We would do things. And he would follow somebody. Like, he would always follow one of us or the group of us. Like, he knew who his family was no matter where we went. So shout out to Ducks. And, that's really what this episode really is kind of guided by that. I'm not going to just like sit here and talk about ducks. But pets and how important they are and how much of a positive impact they can have in your life. And it got me to kind of thinking, like, pets are kind of like kids. I talked to somebody that was close to me recently, and I was just letting them know that the duck had passed, and they were like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, I know how much, Mobius like to call them Dutch. I called him Dark Winged Duck was his real first name. Then when I thought it was a girl, I called him Duchess. Then when I found out he was a boy, I called him Dutchy. And Mobius pulled up with the Dutch. So anyway, she was like, that was like your child before you had a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, like that's real talk though. Like the responsibility of having a pet, that shit is no game. Like my first big major responsibility with a pet was when I was in college and I bought a pit bull.
Woof.
Like that shit, shout out to Dope Boy Fresh, rest in peace Dope Boy Fresh. Like I love that dog so much. Like I lived in my car at one point and I had an apartment, but I lived in my car because my dog couldn't come in my apartment. They threatened to evict me because one of my neighbors snitched that I had a dog. Like that shit was whack as hell.
Whack.
But yeah, like it's a major responsibility. It's a major responsibility having a pet. So just very briefly, tips for taking care of your pet. Listen, I know there's a lot of pet owners out there, but if you are not providing a clean living environment for your pet, you are not a good pet owner. I'm keeping it 100. Like, not everybody's house got to be 100% clean, this, and that. But, at the very least, I feel like try to keep your bathroom clean because what happens? Like when you flush the toilet and you leave the toilet seat up,
oh yeah,
the bacteria from the toilet, like all that shit floats up again to the air, get on stuff.
That's just good hygiene for you too. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to be breathing that in.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's that things like that. But I'm saying like that's not even a part of keeping the bathroom clean. I'm saying it's things like that I feel like you pointed out, good hygiene. Like those things is really important. So that's why I say like the kitchen. That's where your food is. The food you're gonna eat, wherever you keep your food, whether it's a pantry, the cabinets, that shit gotta get clean. Your microwave, that gotta be clean. The counter, that gotta be clean. Like. And definitely your bathroom. And then, if you don't have a common limit area, obviously if you have a common living area, it should always be clean because there's too many people living there. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't, you got your own private common area, you want it to be clean so people can come over, stop by your house. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry, oh my goodness, somebody said they pull up outside or they on the way or this, and that. Like, that's not even something you should even be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Just keep it tight. Anyway, next on the list. Provide ample opportunities to exercise. There's a lot of people who get, like, what they call, like, house dogs, but they don't take them dogs outside at all. Like, even though it's a house dog, it's still a dog. It's still an animal. That's still, like, if it wasn't for you, human being, that dog would be out in the streets fending for itself. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely, yeah, let your animal get some exercise. Train your pet how to follow simple commands. Definitely couldn't train my duck. Duck's imprint on you, so he followed by nature. It wasn't something that I taught him. But I trained my pet I trained Ducky to sit on a stool. That's not something that ducks normally do, sit in one position or in one area or place for like a super long time. Other than when it's cold, I've seen them kind of do that, but yeah, other than that, I feel like that's what I mostly trained them to do, if anything. And it really wasn't even training. It was kind of like, repetition. And, they say animals are smart. Like you create a schedule and they follow it. Feeding the animal a good quality diet and preventing obesity. So that's something that I see a lot, with dogs.
Fat dog.
Yeah, the fat dog thing. That be stressing me out. I'd be like, oh my gosh, why is they dog so fat? Like, that cannot be healthy for the dog. Obviously, well, I mean, a lot of people have their own personal issues with like, being able to provide food and like overeating being better than starving. That's definitely not true, especially for humans. But I get it. And, that's definitely important. But a balanced diet is what's really important. Not just giving your dog anything, not your dog, but any pet. You can't just give them anything. Like, you got to figure out what is it that they need. One thing about ducks is they eat sand and like oyster shells or egg shells for calcium for their bones. So that's really important. Dental care is important. Oh my goodness, that is so hard to get a dog to cooperate. I used to get them little greeny bones that's supposed to keep their teeth fresh. No, my dog would not eat that. So yeah, definitely.
I don't want this.
You can always like Google, natural ways to resolve these problems. Like, there's a workaround. You don't always got to look to the stuff in the store, because I feel like one of the biggest things, like, when you aren't the most financially stable and you have a pet, the last thing you want to do is give your pet up. And so I think we just kind of, sometimes people just do what they can, and that may not necessarily be healthy for the pet. That's like giving the dogs the bones, even though, if they're hungry, the bone is not going to feed them. They need the meat. But anyway, you give them the bone, and then what happened? They break the bone, the sharp part, stab them in their intestines. Then you got to get the dog surgery. You already couldn't afford to buy the dog food. How you going to pay for the surgery? Like, it's just a really messed up situation. So, pay attention to, what specifically your pets need. I keep saying dogs, what they need to make sure that you're feeding them those things. Like, good fur, good coat, good feathers. Are their eyes looking normal? Are they clean? Grooming is definitely really important too. Keep the space clean, keep your pet clean. Everybody's happy at the end of the day. If you can't do these basic things and caring for your pet, then again, you shouldn't have one at all. All right, so we went to, so what I was comparing it to, right? Having an animal is a lot like having a child, because obviously that's a lot of what? Responsibilities. And that's another major part of what this episode is absolutely and utterly about.
Responsibility.
What's that?
Okay, I just wanted to say that.
SR71. Shout out to them. No, SR71. Huh. That's the group. Look it up. All right. So just to do a quick comparison, it says how to take care of young children. Well, I'm pretty sure it's gonna have many of the same steps, right? Like, well, okay, it says wake your children up every day. Well, if you don't wake them up, they'll wake themselves up. So anyway, feed them healthy. Yep, just like an animal. Playtime, the same as exercise with an animal. Incorporate informal learning into playtime. Same thing. You need to train your animal for control and for safety. Serve lunch, feed your animal. This shit is hilarious. Have a snack for the child. That is not something you need to put on the list. That's rich people stuff. Getting lunch and a snack. This is rich people how to take care of kids, because it wasn't that sweet for us. I don't know what you're talking about. Choose afternoon activities. More rich people stuff. You going to the park, it's free. Feed kids again. These kids get to eat 3 times a day. That's crazy. Anyway, the point is, caring for a kid and caring for a pet is a lot like the same thing. So if you're not ready for that responsibility, don't play. Now let's talk about right quick. You in a relationship. Don't you dare go buy that girl a puppy, bruh. Don't you do it, bruh. If you not about to propose to her, y'all don't got an apartment together. Even if y'all do got an apartment together, if you already stressed out having issues like the cleaning's not getting done enough, the cooking's not getting done, if you already have those issues, bringing a pet into the situation is not going to make it any better. Unless maybe like this person like worships dogs or something. You know what I'm saying? Like they might, change the way they move just for the opportunity, but it's very rare. And a lot of times when people make changes in their life, it's real easy to change temporarily, but being consistent is hard.
Pets are expensive too. Like on paper, it seems like a good idea and a safe way to test long-term commitment and relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
But you should just probably use that money to stack for having a kid or buying a house together or just practicing living together long
Well, you
term.
know, some dudes ain't got no plan on having no kids, so they be like,
Here's a
here's
dog.
this dog to keep you busy, shawty, so you won't realize that I'm pulling out. It's like, no, that I'm pulling out every time. Like, that shit trifling. Yeah, definitely the financial part of it. Like, you just gotta be careful. Don't be playing with people's hearts and emotions. Oh, I always wanted a dog. Blah blah blah. Like, bro, if you're not gonna help with that responsibility, because it is a responsibility,
What's that?
don't do it. And so, smaller scale, right? Like, I feel like this is a small scale thing. This is a very like personal thing that we talking about. Taking care of pets, taking care of animals, taking care of your responsibilities. You know what I mean? But who takes care of our pets? And let me not say pets, right?
Children's.
No, who take care of our food?
Pepperidge Farms does.
Ugh, and Tyson's apparently your man struck out tripping in the street.
Breaking into people's houses.
Breaking and entering, tripping out, young. Yeah, so who take care of the animals that we eat? Because I keep wanting to say pets, but that's not right. You know, it just got me thinking. Like, here I'm trying to dab on the rabbit hole. You know how I do, always building the unnecessary suspense. You know what I'm saying? Just who's taken care of and who sets the standards for the animals that we eat regularly. Now, if you're a vegan, shout out to vegans and go ahead and go to, I don't know, the vegan teacher or the angry vegan workout gym master. I don't even know what his name is no more on YouTube. It's just sad. It's so 3 years ago. You know, listen, I'm not talking to y'all. But if you do eat meat, though, ain't you just a little bit concerned? Like, where does that beef come from? Like, I done talked to people, and we talked about this before. You talk to somebody from, like, New Jersey or, like, a particular place in the South, and they'll tell you, I'm going to the butcher.
Mm-hmm. Straight to them.
Straight to, like, I know he had to cut it in the back. It wasn't already done. I had to order it ahead of time. I know he got the whole cow, the whole chicken back there. Sliced him right on up. It's fresh murdered.
Canadian food is super fresh.
Did you eat bison?
No, but I wanted to.
Yeah, I want a bison
I
burger.
A salmon burger. I want to try some deer. I want to try some.
Oh, deer steaks is the bomb.
Yeah, deer burger, whatever. Steak burger.
I'm not. The ground up part is just what's throwing me off.
I'm not.
This guy. All right. So anyway, who's taking care of it? Who's responsible? Who is? So the first thing is who sets the standards for like how farm animals are taken care of? What Google gave me was certifiedhumane.org. The Humane Farm Animal Care Standards incorporate scientific research, veterinary advice, and practical experience of farmers. They have the leading animal scientists, veterinarians, and producers working with the Humane Farm Animal Care to develop the standards. So basically, it's just not one person saying, pay me all your money, I'm going to come up with this stuff. But they're like allegedly actually working with professionals to figure this out. And I mean, come on. Farmers is what you really, that's who you should be talking to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to be on the outside looking in, talking about something. You need to do this and you need to do that. And it's kind of like what, me and Husbando was talking about earlier. You know, he was sifting some flour and he found some weevil eggs. And, you know, he's like, you know, if I didn't know what to look for, I wouldn't know what it was. I wouldn't know that it's a problem in the first place. And that there's people in certain countries who don't know what to look for in their food. And I told him, I was like, you know, that reminded me on one of the episodes that we discussed, I'm pretty sure, you know, with the FDA, when it comes to the food part, you know, there's a particular amount of human hair and nails and skin particles that they allow.
Sawdust and cheese.
And food, yeah, and mice and mouse feces, as long as it doesn't go above a specific percentage, they allow the item to still be sold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. If I got 2 tons of flour and there's 3 mouse poops in it, I would at least remove the mouse poops. I wouldn't just
Well, it's
leave
not
them
like
in
you can
there.
see
But
it,
I know, and that's the hard part, right? So, and that's the other part of it. It's like, so if you do see, like, how can you regulate and you don't know and you're not sure? What is the process? That's what I'm saying. Like, is it, I'm sifting it out right before I package it and I bag it and I saw 3 poops. I got those 3 poops out. But maybe 3 other poops slipped through and I didn't notice. Is that what,
or hair and blood,
But then,
nails.
exactly. How can we measure that? That's the problem. We're learning the hard way. People are getting sick, E. coli, this, and that. Like, it's just, I can't. Anyway, there's another company called Farms Initiative, whatever. They're supposed to help farmers financially and help them farm animals responsibly. Allegedly. Yeah. You know, it's really important for us to be careful with, who we trust when it comes to all the things that are affecting our body. So that's the people in your life, right?
Uh-huh.
The food that you eat and the way you treat people, the way you take care of yourself, and absolutely your home. Like, that's, they say control the things you can't control, because you can't control other people. Can't control the government outcome of that. But for the most part, you got some type of control over what's going on in your household. You got to step it up. Anyway, who's responsible for humane farming? The Humane Farming Association. The Humane Farming Association is dedicated to the protection of farm animals, founded in 1985 and over 270,000 members strong. HFA has garnered worldwide recognition and respect for its landmark anti-cruelty campaigns, including its most notable and successful national veal boycott. If you don't know what veal is baby cows. When I found that out, I was at an Italian restaurant and I was extremely upset that we out here eating baby. Oh, it's tender. Oh, it's tender. That's all I kept hearing. I don't care. I bet it is tender. It's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? If we eat all the babies, ain't no adult cows. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, that shit don't make no sense, bro. Like, we shouldn't even know that veal tastes so damn good if that's what it is. Like, we shouldn't even know.
I used to eat baby crabs with my dad.
Oh, this nigga, baby crabs. Because when he would go fishing?
Soft shell crabs.
Soft shell fat crabs are baby crabs?
I don't know what.
I thought they was just a
soft shell.
A certain type of crab, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're babies, but whatever the case, I felt some type of way. After,
you thought they was baby crabs?
Yeah. After a while, I hadn't eaten them in a while.
Let's not eat baby crabs. I don't know if we're eating baby crabs. Let's try. I know when you go fishing and the crab is small, you throw it back. That's like, and same thing with the fish. The fish too small, throw the fish back. But yeah, so shout out to certifiedhumane.org and shout out to the HFA. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people involved, in what happens to your food before it gets to your plate, before it gets to your stomach. And that's what we need to be careful and we need to pay attention to. Like all these movements of watch what you eat and becoming vegan, is like you could become vegan all you want, but then you're eating also cloned or not cloned, genetically modified fruits and vegetables that you don't even know how they're negatively affecting you, because half the time you don't even realize it's GMO.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of research about GMO or things that the government create and prepare for us in general and then roll it out to the mass market, they don't come out and tell us what's really going on with this stuff until 20, 30 years later. Like, what do you think all these recalls from companies who've been around for hundreds of years? Tylenol has been out for hundreds of years, but we're just finding out that it's making babies autistic. We're just finding out that people are getting liver and kidney failure, like, and not even just finding out, like mainstream knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. They count on it not being mainstream. They count on you not to pay attention, not to research it, and not to look into it. And so they smile in your face with big brands. And they do what?
Catalog.
Fuck you over and get the money in the background. What's the name of the lady? Aunt Jemima? No. Pearl Milling Company.
Yep.
That's what the fuck it should have always been called. Racist ass. Pandering ass. And I got played. I'm just mad because I got played. I grew up thinking Mammy on the bottle. It's cool for me. Same thing with the damn butter. I just stopped buying
Uncle Ben's rice.
This guy. No, I ain't never buy no damn Uncle Ben's rice. I just stopped buying the little Lando Lakes butter because I looked at it. It's a co-op. It's not Native Americans. What? Well, you played me.
Of course it is.
All right, come on. If I'm supporting my people, I'm with it. If I'm not paying $6 to support you. Nah, I'm good on that. I can get this shitty ass Lucerne, whatever you call it. We already talked about this a million times. The FDA cannot be trusted.
Nope.
But it was formed June 30th in 1906. And, they're responsible for protecting and promoting public health through controlling what's in the food and the drugs before it's sent out to you. And so one thing I wanted to let people know, like I said, we got other episodes where we talked about the FDA. You definitely need to pay attention. It's bigger than what you think. There's poison in it's so much bigger than you could even imagine. There's poison in pancake mix. There's poison in the sunscreen. There's poison in anything you could think of from that episode we did that we thought was outrageous that we found out.
Pills, food,
all of it.
Food
and drugs. They got us. They already got us.
There's I don't know if it turned into a lawsuit yet, but there was I think it was an aircraft carrier or something. There was some guys in the Navy who got the jet fuel was leaking into the water supply, and so as they're taking showers and drinking water and washing their hands and stuff, it's in their skin, and
Oh my goodness!
It's jet fuel, not even just like regular fuel. It's high octane jet fuel, which means cancer, more likely than not. The same thing kind of happened when they were filming Top Gun. It wasn't that it was in the water; it was just being around it so much. It's in the air. Everything you touch has air jet fuel particles and stuff because that's where you're working. So. They started to have some adverse health effects from what I had seen.
From some of the cast? In the new movie Maverick?
Yep.
I can't. I can't. Also, there's plastic inside us. Could you Google that and touch plastic, on that in a minute? They said they found it in our blood.
Yeah, microplastics. It was in
Alaska, the microplastics.
Not Alaska. Somewhere like Antarctica or somewhere where it snows a lot and is pretty much the last bastion of untouched, human activity. And there was snow up there, and it had microplastics in it.
Well, yeah, because clouds move throughout the entire Earth, so but it's literally moving shit from one place to another.
Yeah, but it confirms what stuff that we had talked about eating snow. As kids and going into high school, and it's you can eat the snow, whatever. And then later on, it's like, man, this snow don't feel like snow anymore. You couldn't quite put your finger on it.
Well, that was the whole thing. They was like, that was literally a whole thing like 10 years ago or something. And they was like, the next time it snow, ball up the snow. No, they was like, bring it in the house and burn it. If it don't melt right, it's got plastic in it. Like. Yeah, that was the thing. Google that. We are so dated at the unknown unknowns. You already know what it is. If you know anything about that burning the snow, that melting snow thing, hit us up on Instagram. Let me know that I ain't crazy and anybody remember that wild stuff. So basically I wanted to say this. Listen, we already know, the FDA, they're only going to do but so much. One thing I could definitely recommend, it's one thing if you don't know what's going on and you're not checking for the information and you're just allowing yourself to be exposed to these things that you actually can make a difference with, And I say that you can because there is something called recalls. And I feel like at the very least, you need to pay attention to the recalls, like at the very least. So there's some major recalls in 2022 alone. We've had Enfamil recalls. We have had Similac recalls. We've had Gerber recalls. We've had, I believe, Beech Nut. All these different baby food, baby formula, all these different recalls. All these babies, the preemie babies, are dying from gastrointestinal death, like their intestines is dying or exploding or whatever. These babies are dying from the formula. Like they're getting sick. And neck is what it's called, necrotizing. It literally means their insides are dying from this shit. And this is baby formula. So listen, pay attention, watch out. Sign up for the FDA's recall list. There's a few websites that try to help you get money signing up for recalls. Man, get with it. It's a lot. There was a recall with Hubble. The contacts they was selling, they wasn't giving people their real prescription. It's like all types of crazy stuff going on out here. These companies can literally make millions and millions of dollars and get away with the wild shit that they doing. And while we're all getting sick. And then they skate on it. So anyway, we got a whole bunch of recalls. We got some recalls with J Smucker peanut butter. Damn, there's salmonella in the peanut butter.
Damn.
The peanut butter ain't even. This ain't meat flavored peanut butter. Where we get the salmonella poisoning from? Okay. Who else? Onions from the Keller family farms got salmonella. More onions got salmonella from the Thompson International Incorporated. Vegetables got listeria and monocytogenes on it. Okay, that's real stressful. Hard-boiled eggs are getting recalled by Allmark. This is sick. Anyway, get on there, figure out what's going on. What I always say, I could bring this stuff up. We could go down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? I could bring this stuff up, but how do we get out of the situation? You know what I'm saying? And this is how you become proactive in the situation. Before I get into more recall news, I want to say, the thing that really touched me in the rabbit hole when I was thinking about, okay, maybe I could have been a better mom to my pet. All the pets I done had over the years, what could I have done, differently? And I'm just, I love him and I miss him, but I'm so grateful for the experience of raising my duck and the preparation that it gave me for my child. You know what I'm saying? It just brought me to, what are the repercussions for the people who take care of our food? These mass production companies that take care of our food, like, what are, we already said who's responsible for keeping them accountable as far as the humanity and how they're treating the animals. But who's responsible, or what happens to all the farmers that owns all the cattle that passed away this year? Me and Mobius briefly talked about this right before we started recording. There's a bunch of different numbers, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. The largest number I've seen in the article is 10,000. 10,000 cows dead. Why is this happening? So, the number one thing you'll find across the internet is saying it was the heat, it was the heat, it was the heat. I'm like, hold on. We done had animals for how many years in this country? We done had heat strokes how many times in this country? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not act like these are record numbers that have never been hit in the world. It's just the record numbers we're hitting, they're far few between. We haven't seen these numbers since, what they say, 100 years ago, 50 years ago. It's not that the numbers ain't never been seen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where's the, my question to Mobius was like, where's the preparation? If you're saying these cows die from 108-degree heat exhaustion, where was the overhead area that had some fans blowing up some fresh dust, some fresh air? Why is there no interior area where you can run them into? I mean, I know you got a kill house. What the fuck? You ain't got another empty warehouse area where you could keep them, under any type of emergency circumstances? Like, we gotta take responsibility for this. The farmers, listen, I ain't no farmer. I don't know how to do it, and I can't say I will ever be able to do it better than they do it. But at the end of the day, we have to, somebody has to be held accountable. We just can't be sitting here talking about all these natural food resources is being destroyed because it was too hot outside. Mm-hmm. That's just too much for me. So when I was looking through it, I found several articles. And then I found one that said, where's the website? I thought it was going to say Reddit. I'll just read it. This is vaccineimpact.com. I don't know how credible this source is. It says multiple news sources are reporting that thousands of feedlot cattle have died in Kansas, and they're blaming it on the heat. Many farmers have chimed in on social media, however, stating that cattle don't usually die like this simply because of heat, especially in southern cattle producing states such as Texas, which have long, hot summers. That's all I'm saying is it don't make no sense.
The droughts are getting worse though, and everybody in the Midwest is running out of water.
I do agree on the droughts, but did they say it was the droughts? They said it was the heat. Okay, because back to the article, because these are feedlot cattle living in close quarters and being fed commercial feed rather than cattle that graze on the pasture, some have speculated that it could be from poisoning. Now,
Uncle Sam.
let me address that first, right? Because this is what we was just talking about. The FDA. We're talking about recalls. We're talking about, how much feces can be in your food, how many dead bugs can be in your food, how much DNA particles can be in your food. The Food and Drug Administration has set these standards. They know the stuff is in the food. They're not doing anything to try to stop it, or even minimize it less than what it already is. They just, here are the standards. This is what it is, and this is what we're going to have the industry standard to be. Now, I just read you stuff that don't make no sense why I got salmonella poisoning recalls on it. So don't think it couldn't have happened to the daggone cattle feed. And people are less concerned about what they're feeding animals than what they're putting in their own bodies, which don't make no sense, because I wouldn't give my cow that I'm going to eat next week a rotten tomato that I wouldn't eat today.
Right.
That don't even make no damn sense. I see it's a little bit day old, nigga, but moldy, rotted, moldy, no. Another speculation. Others are theorizing that it could be EMF radiation, such as from 5G towers. And so, there is some precedence of EMF radiation poisoning harming cattle in the past. And then they put a link to the scottishfarmer.co.uk. Okay? Because it sounds ridiculous.
And conspiratorial.
Yeah, it sounds conspiratory, right?
I'm not even sure that's a word.
But right, you're just making up words on the unknown unknowns laboratory. This was a thing though. They was tripping when they was saying shit about 5G. In the COVID vaccine.
England, yeah, COVID causes the 5G causes COVID. People were in England were like tearing down towers and shit.
Yeah, no, it causes cancer, but it doesn't cause COVID. Mm-hmm. One thing for sure, there was a study that was done online with a time-lapse camera where they put the 5G boxes near living plants and the plants died. I talked about that. I talk about it over and over again. That's the only thing that I've known, that I've seen. I ain't seen it in real life. I ain't conducted the test on my own. I thought about it, but I still haven't. All the plants I got, I like them. We keep them in the window by the sun. So, not just to murder the plants for test studies, but, it might be something I'll have to look into. At the end of the day, I can't get access to this website because I will not accept all their cookies. I will not allow them to copy my information.
We like cookies.
Yeah, they say they want you to put accept all. I put reject. Okay, I put reject. It gave me like a third pop-up. Like, no, you can't be on this website if you say no. A French farmer has won a battle in court to turn off a 4G mast he blames for killing his cows. Wow, and that was 4G. Imagine what 5G is doing. Listen, how much truth to it is to that story, I don't know. I told you it's from the UK. It's from the internet and from the UK. I don't live in the UK. I can't verify this information, and I'm not about to double, triple cross reference check it. But at the end of the day, look, something fishy going on. Whether it's radiation, whether it's legitimately heat and unpreparedness that killed those cows, it still don't make no sense that all 10,000 of them would drop dead at the same time. That's the shit that don't make sense. And so when it comes to poisoning, things like that, then start to make sense. Because then why would they all die? You fed all of them the same food, the same poison, makes absolute sense.
Suspicious.
Super suspicious. So man, pay attention. My goal is to, get some land, buy me a cow, and
Move.
what? Like, have me two, what you need, like, at least two of them, because they need to smash and make some babies. Listen, I need 2 or 3 of everything. What is it? Noah's Ark. I need 2 or 3 of everything that I like to eat. You feel me? Like, I need to live in an area where I could go hunting and get my deers naturally roaming through the forest and all of that. Like, come on now. We got to find a way to have more control and more knowledge over what we're eating. Lastly, that brings me to, back to just other news. I just have to do it for 2 seconds. I have to shit when we was talking about recalls. I have to take a dump on Ford. Ford is recalling 2022 Mavericks.
The new truck.
Over 11,000 2022 Mavericks have been recalled for issues with the anti-lock braking system. That is not okay. But it's not only Ford fucking up. Hyundai, and that's just what that's how I like to say it. Hyundai Motor Company is recalling over 53,000 Santa Fe Sonatas, Volsters.
What year?
Volsters? I don't even know how to say that. The Veloster, whatever the fuck that car is. Yeah, the Velociraptor. Okay, the Sonatas, the Santa Cruz, the Elantras.
What years?
21 and 22. Over 53,000 of them.
50,000 people used to live here.
Yeah, I don't know what they're recalling them for, but that is a huge amount for recall. Abbott is the company that owns all the baby formula, and that's who's on recall right now.
We talked about that.
Gerber's on episode. Recall. Yeah, because it's been it's been happening for and it's still happening over and over. And now it is with Gerber's with the baby food, like in the jars. They were saying that the jars wasn't closed, so unclosed jars of organic baby food. These baby foods are supposed to have little to no preservatives at all. That means it's gonna go bad immediately. And somebody maybe not paying attention, maybe not smelling the baby food or what, open it, feed it to their baby, like whatever. I can't get into that. It's sick. Anyway, you already know what it is. Pay attention to what's going on in the streets. Pay attention to what you spending your money on. If you are one of those people over COVID who start learning about investing in Bitcoins and stocks and markets and all of this shit, when they do they vote, just like you vote for the election, you need to go in there and vote. You need to Google the people that run the companies that you got shares in, homie. Because every month, or every quarterly when they vote, I get an email about that say, hey, you are a decision maker because you own part of this company. Y'all better stop playing out here. You know, y'all better stop playing. You investing your money over here and you don't know who you let playing with the money. Just like they always say, we voting on the president, but what about our local officials? We not voting on, who is it, the district attorney? Who is your district attorney? If it's a shady ass person, you can't expect to get a justice where you live at. Did you vote for your district attorney? Did you pay attention? Come on now.
I just read something somewhere. I think it was Instagram. It was a cop who worked in the city, and they said something along the lines of it's somewhere high level in the local government, so like mayor, aide, or something, city council, something like that, and that they were actively subverting efforts for police work and stuff. So like somebody just got shot, there's a crime scene, they'll run up and be like, he ain't do nothing. Release that man. You know, stuff like that.
Wait, what? And this is a government person or a local cop type person planted by the government?
It's a local government, so it's like a city council or something of that level or higher. That they can actively go down the crime scenes and be like, hey, let that boy go. He ain't do nothing. I'm here with the district attorney. Blah, basically with authority. Enough authority to go, I'm going to call the police chief. And then the police chief will get on the radio and be like, all right, I got to chill. You know, like that's
sound like mob shit.
Yeah.
All day in the paint. This been going on. Shit been corrupt for years. As long as the drug dealers can bring dope into the city and have paid cops on their team, anything is possible. Like, they're not big politicians. They're just the dope dealers. Come on. If a dope dealer can do it, a politician could definitely do it. Like, who we buying over here? I wanted to end this by saying, you are what you eat. Okay? There's a proverbial saying, you are what you eat, is the notion that to be fit and healthy, you need to eat good food, right?
We like that.
That's what we're trying to say.
Eat good food, work out a little bit, go touch some grass, stay grounded, you know.
Do things that make sense, my guy. Do things that make sense.
We've got all this land with all these houses and all these fences, but no gardens. We should probably change that.
Right. You're not growing no spices. You steady spraying
pesticides.
These niggas who's also recalled from giving people cancer, fatigue,
DDT or something. It was
no. I don't know. All the damn lawn spray companies.
It's DDT.
Oh, DDT. I don't know what it stands for. Oh, that's the big name of the company?
No, it's a chemical.
Oh, that's the chemical. Okay.
Dexto. This is your area of expertise.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to try to put it on me. I'm going to try to put it on me. Yeah, so DDT, synthetic insecticides. Oh, dichlorofentrichloroethane. I think I did it right.
Many syllables later.
50 syllables later. Anyway, DDT, yeah. I mean, look, it's trifling. Do things that make sense. Pay your freaking attention. Do something simple like plant a plant. Have plants in your house. Grow fruits and vegetables and trees on your property. Fuck. Educate yourself. Keep listening to our shitty, ridiculous laboratory. And maybe we'll help you the best that we can.
At the very least, we can get you hip to some stuff.
That's what we're
trying to do.
You already know. It's Shady AK, Cartier, and Mobius trying to save the world. Or at least some of the brown community doing what we do. Yep. Wow, he just took a mouth fart. That was so unnecessary.
It was supposed to be the intro to
Duke Nukem?
We're trying. You said
oh my goodness! Play
Save the World.
Intern, if you could please insert the song to Duke Nukem
64
here.
Though it's got to be 64.
Duke Nukem 64. here. Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for being here with us in this laboratory. You already know what it is. It's 2020. It's 11 something. Get with
Late
us.
night podcast. We out here.
We out here. All right.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Holla.